In a way, I wanted to resonate artworks, female history, and the idea of travel. And within the show and the complexity of the show, there is two places in the sense of the travel that are meaningful. One is Krakow, Poland, and second one is San Miguel Allende. So with resonating also places, in my shows and in my work, I go back into history of womanhood, the position of women in artworks, and the aspect of muses. And of course, it comes from my generation and being Polish, that I discovered that there's so much more that we can discover within women in artworks. And with this show, I became really intrigued and in a way obsessed with the work of Deborah Turbeville, an American photographer, fashion photographer, known mostly, but in my opinion an amazing artist and photographer who also through her travels and presenting something that is very hard to put in words, but it's a moment when the photograph blends into an artwork, that it becomes something more than just a depiction. And she had many secret methods how to do this. It was a relationship with her a subject matter, with the places where she photographed, and it came to me like a riddle in a way that one of the favorite places that she loved to photograph was actually Poland, Krakow and Warsaw. Since 1990s, she traveled frequently to Poland to photograph this era of a change, yes. And her photographs are really atmospheric. They have something ghostly, eerie. So that added to the conclusion also that I wanted to work with this aesthetic. I followed her to San Miguel Allende to find what was it in the town that she found very particular. And in San Miguel, there is still her house where she lived and worked, and where she had a photographic studio called Casa No Name. And I was able to stay in this place and stay with her, be surrounded by her books, by a little bit this atmospherics in whatever kind of resonance. My first intuition was to work with paintings, yes. So I wanted to have the spirit, the symbolics, the poses, the atmosphere in relationship of Deborah Turbeville work. And within the show, we also show a vitrine with photographs that are kindly presented here from her representatives, the MUUS Collection. But then I felt also the need of having a form, and I found very quickly, and I was always intrigued by coming to Mexico a few times, about the stone quarries here and stone workshops. And so I worked with Joel Arrieta's studio, and we had produced several sculptures which have a kind of like a form like a meteors, that they would, for me, they kind of fallen from above with symbols. So there are symbols, so it's kind of like in between a sculpture and an engraving. And there are symbols that for me, like if I would lay the cards, they would be in relationship to this show.